Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Get ready for Talking Heads, the show where expert insights meet world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Brought to you by USA Global TV and Radio. Meet our distinguished presenters. From the great state of Texas, longevity expert, award-winning author, publisher, and distinguished Toastmaster, Red O'Loughlin. From London, England, soul heart awakener, novelist, vocal coach, and artist, Dr. Madeline Chan. Also from England, the Harley Street stress expert, therapist, ambassador for peace, and speaker, Jacalyn Heward. And from Australia, ICF PCC Credentialed Coach, entrepreneur, and leadership coach, MARISKA du PREEZ. Experience their expertise, connect with their wisdom, and transform your perspective. Watch Talking Heads on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. This video and its contents are the property of USA Global TV and Radio. All rights reserved. Terms and conditions apply. Visit usaglobaltv.com for more details.
Hello, USA Global TV and Radio. And for those who have joined us before, welcome back. And for all our new viewers and listeners, welcome. I am MARISKA du PREEZ, your host here on Talking Heads, as you might have noticed at the beginning of our show. So what are we discussing today? Today we are looking at setting us up for success. Now, I work with leaders either transitioning into leadership from some form of specialization, such as engineering, or with leaders already inside of leadership, moving up within their career. And we come across quite a variety of things, especially around teams and how we work well with teams and bringing a little bit more of that humanness into that space. So what we're looking at today is really around teams and how to set our team up for success. And yet there's three things that we are going to work through that helps us guide how to do that. So we ensure that our team can be successful in what they are bringing into the world for us. So, number one, we look at purpose. Now, typically, most places you might be familiar with mission. Now, the difference between mission and purpose is that mission looks at what we want to sort of go out and mission into the world. So it's the thing that we are looking at bringing to the world. Purpose has a outside in view. So what purpose look at is it looks at what the world needs from us as a team. So when you think about purpose, it's really the who and what do we serve as a team. So all teams are established for a reason. We don't just get a team for no reason whatsoever. There's a purpose behind having a team. There's some function that needs performing, and that is why we have this specific group of people that is going to be working together and together create something that none of them on their own will be able to create. Hence, our team. So first we want to establish who and what do we serve? So typically, if we think about an organization, on the inside of the organization, we have our different departments. And we might think about one of these departments and go, okay, who do we serve? Well, we have the other departments that we're working with. We have the larger organization, and we might be, I don't know, manufacturing lollipops, and our clientele are the general public out there. Now, yes, and there's all these different layers of people that we're serving. So as you heard, as I went through my little list, we think of our ecosystem in which we are working and the different people that might be influenced by what it is that we do. Now, what we want to do is we want to identify as many of them as possible. So yes, the obvious ones are the people that we typically work with in other departments around us. Those ones, nice and easy. Then we also think about our leadership structure. So we might think about our stakeholders within the business itself. So our upper leadership layer. It might be a board that we need to be reporting to, or stakeholders within that space. So that element of it, that's also within our ecosystem. Then we also have the people outside of the organization that we are working with. So our clients, our suppliers, as well as the communities in which we are operating. So say, for instance, we have a facility somewhere in a specific area. How we impact and interact with that community, not only physically, but also on a social level, makes a difference on our interactions and how we will behave as a team and what it is that they need from us, right? Sometimes the need is something small, which I'm putting small in brackets because this can be something big as well, such as communication. They want to know what it is that we're doing, how it is that we're performing, how we are being sustainable, how we look after our environment and all the rest of it, and the impact that we have. Now, as a team, you might be thinking, well, it's not really my place because we don't set up the environmental policies for the organization. We don't do this thing and we don't do that thing. And wherever it is that you are working, you are having some form of impact on the bigger environment. So it is always good to bring all the elements of your environment into your space as well as a team to ensure that we have all the layers of purpose covered. Because remember, we want to know who it is that we serve as well as what it is that we are here to do. So the what we serve, the why we exist as a team. And it's really not always such an easy question to answer. So really thinking about why we exist as a team makes a big difference. And our ecosystem needs. Then the next piece that we also want to take into consideration, once we have figured out our purpose as a team, is we want to find out what the KPIs of success would be for us as a team. Now, most people might be familiar with KPIs in general. We get some key performance indicators that we need to look at as a business within sales. We might need some numbers that we need to hit within our engineering department. We might need to look at the amount of downtime for our machinery, whatever the case might be for our KPIs. We want to also make sure that as a team, we set up a set of KPIs that's relevant and speaks to our purpose. So that's one of the reasons why it's really important to figure out our purpose first. I mean, it's all well and good, we are a team, and if we do not serve the purpose that we are there to serve, we will become redundant and then just not exist anymore. So we need to be clear on our purpose and help those around us to actually tell us and help us know, understand what it is that they need from us to ensure that they get the best service as well. And by doing this, we will start to get our key performance indicators for being successful. Because if we ask our customer, for instance, what it is that they need from us, and we go back to our lollipop manufacturer, we will find that our customer wants a very top quality lollipop. They want to be able to enjoy their lollipop. They also want to make sure that there is not necessarily any hazards to enjoying their lollipop. So thinking about all the requirements and the needs that our customer might have around enjoying their lollipop and what's important to them about a lollipop, we might also find that the lollipop, the reason for them to even consider buying a lollipop is because typically they utilize it for entertainment at a birthday party, or they might just use it for enjoyment. So it might be related to specific occasions or specific feeling that they want to generate. And understanding this will also help us to rectify or adjust the KPIs that we are thinking about when we think about success. So the way that we do business, is this really enjoyable for our customer? Is it making their life joyful or not? Now, we want to make sure that whatever the purpose is, we pull it through as far as possible in our own whole cycle within the business as well as for our team. So things to consider when we think about KPIs is the requirements for success. How would this actually look like for the people that we are serving? Now, when we think about the customer, they might enjoy the lollipop because it's just something enjoyable for them and they bring it within their celebrations. For our stakeholders, it's going to be something quite different. So thinking about top leadership, the KPIs that they might be looking at and the KPIs our customers are looking at are different types of KPIs. So success will be looking a little bit different in both cases. Now, we will also have a bit of a hierarchy around the who and what it is that we serve. So some of the eco environment might be a little bit higher up within that space than others. And we also want to make sure that we identify as many of them as possible. Because from time to time, if we don't identify all of them and we didn't take them into consideration, well, they might come and bite us when we do not expect it or when we least want it. So making sure that we're really clear on our eco partners is going to be helpful, not only for us to determine our purpose, but also for us to determine our KPIs for success. Now, a KPI is one of those things where we need to be very, very sure what it is that we want to measure. Because the thing we measure is the thing we get. And I'm going to repeat this. The thing we measure is the thing we get. Our measurements drive behaviors. So if I want a high amount of sales, right? So the number of sales, I want a high amount of sales. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drive a behavior where my salespeople will bring in every and any deal they can possibly bring in. If, however, my KPI is that I want a high quality of sale, then my salesperson will look at the way that they do sales differently. And they will start to build relationships with the people that they are interacting with, which means I will most probably have a longer run with those companies or those individuals because they have built relationships within that space, in the sales space. So understanding what it is that we are measuring and what impact that will have on our business. So when we look at our KPIs for success, we need to look at what's required to be successful. So how would success look like for our ecosystem partners? What do they think of as success for us? When do we look successful? And then what does that actually look like, right? How does that show up? And then we need to go and have a look at what do we need to measure that would help us to have this behavior that we are looking for, or this result that we want to move to. Now, this brings us to our third point, which is behaviors for achievement. Now, as you might have noticed, our KPIs drive our behaviors. So depending on what it is that we are going to measure, we will get certain types of behaviors. And by getting those types of behaviors, that of course drives a whole bunch of other things, including some of our cultural norms. So again, one of the reasons was really, really important to understand the purpose, because purpose is going to weave through all of these elements. And we cannot determine those behaviors that we need if they are not in line with our purpose. If we have a misalignment there, we're just going to have a big, nice mess. And that goes the same with our KPIs. So looking at the behaviors, and it might be that we set up our KPIs and our behaviors by looking at them at the same time. So when we think about our behaviors to actually achieve the thing that we want to be achieving, we also want to see what resources do we need either as individuals or within the team. So what we want to do is we really want to make sure that we play to the strengths of everyone in the team and that our team becomes greater than the sum of its parts. So instead of having 1 + 1 being 2, we want to have 1 + 1 being 10. And that is achievable within teams if we actually set it up correct, because we can multiply each other's strengths. Unfortunately, we can also diminish each other's strengths. So 1 + 1 might end up being 0.1 instead of anywhere near a 2. So understanding how that dynamic works and utilizing each person's strength and the strength of the team. Again, this goes back to purpose. We really need to understand what it is and who it is that we are serving, because only then can we see, okay, these are the type of strengths that I need for this purpose. To be able to live this thing, I need these strengths. And then I can start to also see what other resources I might not have. So when I'm talking about resources, this might be skill sets that I might not have within my team. This might be other resources such as physical resources, finances, or physical equipment that I might require within my team to function the way that I'm supposed to function. So really looking at what resources we require in order to set up ourselves up for success to get to that or to fulfill that purpose that we have set up at the beginning. Then we also need to determine how we need to be different. Now, I know for a lot of us, we think, oh yeah, but I can just be the way that I am. Well, that would be great. And we all grow in the process of living. So for us to be able to fulfill a specific purpose, there might be some skill sets or some ways of being that we need to tweak a little bit in order to actually function according to our purpose better. And that is what we want to be doing. We want to become a team that enables and that has a bigger impact in our environment, not just being high performing. So looking at that, there might be ways of being that we need to change or tweak a little bit. So when I think about my engineers, which I dearly love, I also know that sometimes with some of them, there's a little bit of understanding that needs to be created within the social dynamic space. Now, it's easy enough to work with a thing. It's a little bit more tricky to work with the other human beings. Now, when I understand how to work really well with this other human being, it becomes a lot easier for me to do so. And when it is a lot easier for me to do so, the co-working that we are doing, the team that we are forming, becomes a more than 1+1 team. If, however, I do not work really well with this person and we are always in a fight and sort of there's a constant tension in the air just when we are in the same room, we sit with the problem where 1+1 definitely does not equal or even greater than the sum of that equation. It becomes way less and it becomes toxic and draining for everyone, not only the two individuals involved. So understanding in that case, the resource would be that I need to help my team with social development and understanding each other's strengths, understanding how they work, understanding when and how to ask for help and to get and give help where required, so that we as a team can start to work better together. And that might all be behaviors that we need to tweak or change, or ways to be different in order to get our results that we are actually looking for. So, as a quick recap for how we set ourselves up as a team to be successful, first, we need to make sure that we are very clear on our purpose. Who and what do we serve? Second, we want to make sure that we have our KPIs for success, because what we measure is the behaviors that we will be cultivating. And then third, and definitely not the least important one of the lot, is behaviors for achievement, and making sure that we actually cultivate the behaviors that we want in order for us to achieve the KPIs that we have now intentionally set in a way that would talk to our purpose. And that is how you set your team up for success and to ensure that the sum of its parts creates something that's even bigger than it, a bigger than equation instead of a lesser than one. So if you would like any more information on this, you are more than welcome to contact me, and you can do that via my email address, which is mariska@journey2discover.com, or alternatively, you can also connect with me on LinkedIn. And there are also quite a few other talking heads on our platform, which I am sure you will find very interesting, and you are more than welcome to go and browse those. Until next time, I hope that you and your team see a lot more success and find those purposes. Until next time, bye-bye.
In a world full of noise, misunderstandings, and interruptions, master the art of listening with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck is the listening mentor of USA Global TV and Radio and the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. Elevate your listening. Elevate your life. Join a global learning experience in person or via Zoom. Reserve your spot today. usaglobaltv.com/book-your-session or drjacalyn.thinkific.com. Join Dr. Kerbeck's listening courses or hire her to unlock deeper connections and authentic conversations. Have you ever felt unheard? Like your words float into a void, leaving you invisible and disconnected? How about feeling judged, when assumptions overshadow your truth, leaving you misunderstood and defensive? And then there's that moment when someone offers solutions you never asked for, dismissing your feelings and leaving you more frustrated than before. It doesn't have to be this way. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the listening mentor, understands. She's here to help you reclaim your voice, build stronger connections, and create meaningful conversations that inspire understanding and mutual respect. Through her groundbreaking books, online and in-person courses, and interactive workshops, you'll learn how to navigate life's most challenging interactions. Discover the power of elevated listening and transform how you communicate. Master setting boundaries and asking permission to protect your peace. Learn to recognize and release judgment, fostering empathy and true connection. Dr. Kerbeck also offers personalized coaching, one-on-one or group sessions designed to fit your unique needs. Whether in person or virtually on StreamYard, her guidance will empower you to thrive. You don't have to struggle alone. The path to deeper connections and better relationships start here. Visit drjacalyn.com or usaglobaltv.com. Join a global community of empowered listeners and transform your life, one meaningful conversation at a time. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck is the listening mentor. Start your journey today.